All right, let's dive in. We're going to explore a really powerful way to learn about leadership. But here's the thing. Our classroom doesn't have any walls. Instead, we're using an entire city, a place that's been at the crossroads of power for 2,000 years, as our living laboratory. It's a tough question, right? Because real leadership, real courage, it's not something you can just learn from a book. It's all about making incredibly hard choices under unbelievable pressure when the stakes are as high as they can possibly get. So, how do you get beyond the textbook? Well, the military actually perfected a method that turns history into this visceral, hands-on experience. It gets you out of the classroom and puts you on the very ground where those life or death decisions were made. It's called a staff ride, and the idea is actually pretty simple, but it's incredibly profound. You walk the same ground as past leaders. You stand right where they stood, and you grapple with the choices they had to make. Suddenly, you understand the true weight of command. The terrain itself, it becomes the instructor. So for this explainer, we're going to put this whole concept to the test using the city of Stuttgart, Germany. This is a place that for 2,000 years has been a crossroads of empire, of conflict, and of just game-changing innovation. Yeah, we're turning the entire city into a leadership lab. The principles here are pretty straightforward, but they go deep. You put your boots on the actual ground where it all happened. You try to get inside the heads of the leaders who were there, and then you connect their choices to the challenges we face today. It builds this shared understanding of, why we serve, how we lead, and what really unites us. The first lesson of any staff ride is always about the terrain. The ground right under your feet dictates absolutely everything. So let's take a look at how Stuttgart's physical location has shaped power and control for literally centuries. Stuttgart's strategic importance isn't new. It's a 2,000-year-old story. It started as a Roman fort, right on the edge of the empire. By the 18th century, it was the region's command center. Then Napoleon shows up, and his visit redraws the map of Europe right from its doorstep. And that legacy, it continues today, with the city being a global hub for both industry and security. And this square is the perfect example. The city's central square, Schlossplatz, it wasn't just designed to be pretty. No, it was a strategic gate. It was built to control the movement of troops, trade, and information. For over 400 years, it was the undeniable center of gravity for all of southern Germany. Okay, let's shift gears now to a different kind of power: innovation. In a city like Stuttgart, which is just defined by its engineering genius, progress has always been a double-edged sword. It gets used for dramatically different and sometimes conflicting purposes. I mean, think about this. Long before we had drones or satellites, Stuttgart's very own Count Zeppelin gave commanders the ultimate high ground. His airships totally changed warfare by giving them a view from above for the very first time. It completely revolutionized reconnaissance. And that same spirit, that same obsession with precision engineering is what drove world-famous companies like Mercedes-Benz, Porsche, and Bosch. These names didn't just build cars. They built a global reputation that made Stuttgart the undisputed heartbeat of German industry. But here's the other edge of that sword. During the Nazi regime, those brilliant factories were retooled. The same genius that builds a world-class automobile was weaponized with terrifying efficiency, churning out aircraft engines and tank components for the Third Reich's war machine. And this brings us to the moral core of Stuttgart's story. It's a place where systems of order and efficiency were tested against the conscience of individuals, forcing them to decide where their true duty really lies. Right in a downtown building called Hotel Silber, the Gestapo took Stuttgart's famous efficiency and twisted it into an instrument of terror. This was their third largest headquarters in Germany. It was a place where administrative precision was used to organize surveillance, arrests, and mass deportations. It was order turned into pure oppression. And yet, even inside that terrifying system, there was resistance. Klaus von Stauffenberg, an officer with deep ties to Stuttgart, was the one who led the 1944 attempt to assassinate Hitler. His story is just this powerful reminder that even in the darkest times, an individual's conscience can fight back. The war brought just about total destruction to Stuttgart. But what happened next is an incredible story of transformation. It shows how a community can rise from being a target to becoming a vital hub for the entire transatlantic world. 53. That's the number. 53 Allied bombing raids. Because it was the heartbeat of German industry, it was a prime target. By 1944, 2/3 of the city center was just gone. Rubble. So what do you do with all that rubble? Well, in Stuttgart, they piled it all into a new hill, over 130 feet high. The locals nicknamed it Monte Scherbalino, the Mount of Shards. You can actually go stand on that hill today, a man-made mountain of ruin, and look out at the modern skyline that rose right out of it. The city's rebirth was nothing short of remarkable. From the ashes of 1945, its logistics network became a crucial southern hub for the Berlin airlift. That single act of partnership began to transform former enemies into allies, and eventually led to Stuttgart becoming the nerve center for U.S. military operations across 2 continents. So, here it is, the really crucial takeaway. History isn't just about memorizing dates and names from a textbook. A staff ride reminds us that it is forged on real ground, by real people, making choices that have consequences that echo for generations. And that leaves you with a final thought. History isn't just locked away in museums or in some far-off battlefield. It's written into the landscape all around us. So the question is, what lessons are buried in the ground right beneath your own feet?